I knew AdviceOne was a fit for us after we attended the first financial planning seminar, and they introduced the planning concept and how they worked. And then we had the opportunity to meet with a financial advisor, and we just really liked the way they questioned and explained the process to us. And that was what we needed in a financial advisor.
My getting involved with AdviceOne was based on her enthusiasm for the whole process. She had colleagues who had been working with AdviceOne and really enjoyed the process and enjoyed the results and the outcomes. And I was a little skeptical at the start, but having met with the team and seeing how the process worked, it definitely gave me a lot of confidence.
I think for me, the way AdviceOne has impacted me is, first of all, giving us the freedom to retire early. We, as engineers, were very conservative, and we're always concerned that we had enough financially, and that was one of the biggest impacts of AdviceOne.
A major impact for me, again, reiterating what Janet was saying, is that I had concerns about retiring, just more concerned about how far my money would go, or our money would go. And the impact was that AdviceOne was able to show us that it was doable, that we weren't going to be out on a limb, so to speak, 10, 15, 20 years down the road. Our money would last. It gave me a lot of comfort, so the impact was very positive.
For me, I think my best experience with AdviceOne was after we retired. We had a family situation arise where there was a need for financial support, and we both wanted to do it and weren't sure that we could manage the commitment. And just being able to call AdviceOne and say, hey, things have changed, and they were just, okay, great, how can we help? When can we get you in? And that was just exactly what we needed at that time.
When we first were talking with AdviceOne, and I had a dream of a large purchase in retirement, and I kept arguing with the advisors that you don't understand how much money this is going to take and how big a deal it is. And AdviceOne kept saying, nope, you're good. Here's how it's going to work. And they finally convinced me that it was doable, and now we're enjoying the fruits of that. So it was a good idea. Definitely.
I like the AdviceOne planning process really for 3 reasons. One, it's collaborative in that the questions are always about what is our lifestyle, what are our dreams for the future, what do we want to do, and then secondly, what are the financial, what are our means to do that? And the way they pulled everything together, they asked questions that we hadn't even thought of, oh yes, we have this over here and that over there, and pulling everything together into that planning process was great. The second thing is that it's collaborative in that we help decide what type of risk we want, which defines what our portfolio looks like. And we can change that at any time through the process, through our meetings. And the third is that it is just, it gives us the ability to see different scenarios. We can do the what ifs that we were talking about a moment ago. And that was really good for us too.
The planning to me was great in that the future modeling of where we would be was very thorough. It took into account lots of contingencies and lots of nuances that most planning I've seen kind of ignores or just doesn't accept. And interestingly enough, the projections have mostly been on target, even though we've only been doing this for 5 or 6 years. The numbers are working out close to what the plan was originally projected at. So the planning was comprehensive, it was complete, it seems to be accurate, which gives me a lot of comfort, especially when we looked out at planning to live to be 100 or whatever, and seeing that we aren't going to necessarily be out on the corner shilling for dimes and quarters.
My AdviceOne experience has really been outstanding. Our advisor is awesome. We can call with any questions at any time. They're extremely responsive and at the same time not over communicative. One of the things I cherish is my personal time and not having my emails just inundated with things. And we hear from AdviceOne when we need to or when there's a market thing, and it's just great. So I could not say enough for the team. The welcome team and the client liaisons are great in getting the right information to us and getting the question to the right person to be answered quickly. For me, I wasn't really expecting that to be all things UTC, RTX. I was not necessarily expecting that to be a huge deal. And yet when we started talking retirement, their familiarity with the pension, moving to the non-pension and the 401k and all of that turned out to be extremely helpful. And then also through the various mergers and divestitures of companies, being able to get good advice on how to handle the stocks, when to hold on to them, perhaps when to consider selling. That's just been awesome.